It's time to get our sleuth on once again in the council. Yes, here we go. So I think I was in the middle of a puzzle that I didn't want to just click on everything to do. I actually wanted to try and figure it out because it was late last time I played this. Okay, let's do this. Um. Oh God. Oh, I'm right back. So, I think I need to. I know I can't leave the room. I don't think I can leave the room. Let's remind myself of what's going on. Yeah. So I can't leave. So there has to be another message in um, in this room, and let's meet up. I'll leave it to you to organise a rendezvous. Not today. I'm unable to do it. In the meantime, follow the first group to Mark, who will reveal something. And I'm sure I got another. Did I not learn something from this painting? I actually can't remember anymore.
St. Paul on the road to Damascus.
St. Paul,
by
no one cares about
Caravaggio.
St. Paul.
This painting has been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
I can read the number 4. Ah, I'm stuck in the drapes. I can't pick that up, can I? Too much caramelite water. Follow the first group to Mark. So this is Mark here, isn't it?
Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni.
Guido Reni.
There's nothing worth noticing here. There are finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust. 8 in all.
8, so 4-8 or 8-4 or something like that.
Little characters are engraved on the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew.
If only I had some linguistics. Good morning, Hebrews and Shebrews. I feel like I found something after that in, was it like Corinthians and then
It is of paramount importance that no
something.
one finds it. Watch out for the Prussian. He's on the trail. Let's meet up. I'll leave it to you to organize the rendezvous. Not today. I'm unable to do it. In the meantime, I'll follow the first group to Mark, who will reveal the answer to them. And that first group of pilgrims, how many are there now? If I refer to the chapter I'm reading at the moment, 6.
So none of these have a 6 in them. So follow something to Mark. 6 doesn't get me anywhere, you know?
And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet. Then came together unto him the Pharisees, and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem.
People of Jerusalem, whom is your friend? Oh God. I don't know what to do. Who's this
St.
again?
Paul, painted by Guido Rini.
Ah, good old St. Paul.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Rini. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Yeah, I'm sure you said that last time. We can't do anything with it. Ugh. So, I mean, he's specifically saying go to St. Mark, which is, this is the only St. Mark that I know of, right? Because this is the young fella. We've done all this.
St. John, painted by Guido Rini.
Right. So, I do not have any idea what to do, so...
And it came to pass in those days that Jesus came from Nazareth of Galilee and was baptized by John in Jordan. And as they did eat, Jesus took bread and blessed it and broke it and gave it to them and said, "Take, eat. This is my body." Then came together unto him the Pharisees,
So I think I've clicked on every single
and
one of those.
certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem.
So it's not... So where's Mark hanging out? Chapter 6, verse 8, 6 and 8? Did 8 show up somewhere?
But that which beareth thorns and briars is rejected, and is nigh unto cursing, whose end
Is
to
that right?
be
Because there was
burned.
a number on...
Here's a message.
Yeah, it is. Yes,
There are
nailed
some
it.
complications. Indeed, the Prussian is insistent. What's happening at your end? Do you need help? If tonight is not possible, let's say tomorrow evening, in the South Room, where we reviewed the situation. When Paul understood that only the axe counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. Yeah, this last comment is about their code. I should find new pilgrims near Paul.
Oh, God. This nightmare goes on. I'm not clever enough. So Paul was in this direction, right?
St. Paul on the road to Damascus, by Caravaggio.
And if I examine the frame, it gives me number
Painting has
4.
been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
Yeah, because the other one was number 6, and there were 8 fingerprints, so that was chapter 6, verse 8, or whatever it was. So this has to be something about Paul.
Then they suborned men, which said, "We have heard him speak blasphemous words
I'm just
against
gonna pick everything with a
Moses
6
and
in it.
against God."
Oh, or was it a 4? Sorry. 4. I mean 4. Nope. Nope.
Because we look not at the things that are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
Oh.
Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are
That's
true,
4-8.
whatsoever things
This is a good
are
chance because
honest,
of the 8 fingerprints, right?
whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
Oh, where was I? Corinthians 4:18. No, I just did a 4:8 in here, right? Yeah, I did that. 4:17.
This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind.
Shut up, ye. Let's go 4 in it.
In him God has chosen us before the foundation of the world, that we may be holy and blameless before him.
Oh, I am terrible at this.
Not in the lustful desire, even as the Gentiles.
If it's
who
not this,
knew
I'm in
not
trouble.
God.
Oh god, I have no idea. They're the only ones that all have 4 in them, right?
I guess I'll just come back later.
I will, I guess, because that's all you get to do. Right.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio. St. Paul is the only saint to be presented twice in these paintings, contrary to the other apostles. How come?
Is it something to do with 2?
Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior. This painting has been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
Okay. So let's see. 4-2 is the only thing I can think of. Because there's nothing else to look at near him. Is there any other paintings of Paul? So that's Mark.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni.
So this is another Paul.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust.
I used this one already, I think.
Recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. I don't know, what does that mean?
Sure, I already did that. Oh god. Because this is where the first note was, right?
Dear E,
Yeah.
I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims.
Because that's
would mislead you.
1111, because it's underlined
Pick up
twice.
the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative. Awaiting your reply, hidden behind the youngest apostle. What? The youngest apostle?
Try
What does
done
Mother
that, you
mean by
twit.
that?
So this one is for something. Or something 4, but I think I've clicked on everything that's got 4 in it.
Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely,
Oh, man.
whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Hereby know that we dwell in him.
I'm just going
and
for things
he
that have
in
fours.
us, because he hath given us of his Spirit.
Oh, God's sake. So, let's do this. No fours. No fours. Did I do that one already?
Hereby know that we
Yeah.
dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit.
Okay. So, all of those done. So that, no can do. Pretty sure I've done this one.
Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever
Listen to him say
things are
whatsoever
just,
a million times.
whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Honor thy father and thy mother, as this
Just thinking
is
maybe
the
it's
first
all just in
commandment.
chapter 6. I don't know. I might just have to click on all these until I get it, which is really lame.
Not in the lustful desire, even as the
I'm pretty sure I've
Gentiles
clicked on all
who
these.
knew not God.
So I was in Corinthians chapter 6, verse 7. And then I did chapter 6, verse 8. When Paul understood that only acts counted, he went back on his tracks. I wait your confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims that joined him. Confirmation to his left. What? What does that mean? There's a lot of these to go through before I like... Corinthians 1 is there. Hebrews is there. So there's something to the left of Corinthians. No. So if you go back, so if you're in, maybe I'm totally overthinking this, but if I'm in Hebrews, I go back on my tracks. So I'm now in Corinthians 1. If I go to the left of that, it's here. So is it one of these?
Wherefore, as by one man sin entered into the world,
Let's give
and
it a
death
bash.
by sin. And so death passed upon all men, for all have sinned. There is none that understandeth, there is none that seeketh after God.
Because that was one, so it's not likely
We
to be
know
one of
that
these.
the law is spiritual, but
Ah, jeez.
I am carnal, sold under sin.
Nope. Six, number 7. So to the left of that is this one.
If we have hope in Christ in this life only, we are, of all men, most miserable.
Nope. Christ.
guess I'll just come back later.
Look, there's a bed to the left of him. When Paul understood that only acts counted, he went back in his tracks. He awaited confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims who joined him. See, this is the problem. If I'd worked out the bloody code in the first place instead of randomly clicking on things, I'd be... See, the first one I get because 1111 was on the painting. And I get 6-8 because there was the number 6 and there was the 8 fingerprints. When Paul understood that only acts are counted, he went back on his tracks. I awaited confirmation to his left in the company of pilgrims that have joined him. So pilgrims, last time pilgrim dimension was like an 11. Who knows, man? I mean, obviously someone cleverer than me. So it's not going to be in any of these because it has to be St. Paul, right?
There is none that understandeth. There is none that seeketh after God.
Okay.
But though we, or an angel from heaven, preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. This only would I learn of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? But when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb, and called me by his grace, for I through the law
I wonder if
am
you get an
dead
achievement for
to the
clicking
law,
on everything before
that I
finding.
might live unto God.
Okay, so it's not in there.
Not in the lustful desire, even as the Gentiles who knew not God. For what thanks can we render to God again for you, for all the joy we found in you before our God? Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient toward all men.
Oh, great. I'm not gonna do this. This is ridiculous.
I guess I'll just come back later.
So this is the only other Paul, right?
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior. painting has been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
So it either has to have a 4 in it, or it's 4 times 2 because there's 2 Pauls maybe. How many things have an 8 in it? Nope. Nope.
How shall not the ministration of the Spirit not be more glorious? But though we, or an angel from heaven, preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
I'll give you an accursed. So there's 4, 8. That would be the one I would have gone with.
Brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are
But we know
honest,
that's not right.
whatsoever things are just,
Whatsoever.
whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
Two, 8, 6, 8.
Thou hast put all things under his feet, for in that he put all in subjection under him. He left nothing that is not put under him. There are some complications. Indeed, the Prussian is insistent. What's happening at your end? Do you need help? If tonight is not possible, let's say tomorrow evening,
Oh,
in
this
the
is the
South
last.
Room, where we reviewed the situation. When Paul understood that only the axe counted, he went back on his tracks. I await your confirmation to his left, in the company of the pilgrims that have joined him. Yeah, this last comment is about their code. I should find new pilgrims near Paul. Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. Their fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
That's more pilgrims. Oh, I should find more pilgrims near Paul. I don't know what it means. So look, none of them have anything that has a 4 in it. So, no 4. No 4. No 4. No 4. No 4. There's also chapter 2,
And
verse 2
suddenly
still.
there came a sound from heaven like a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting.
Exciting. No 4. No 4. There's 4.
Hereby know that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit.
Yeah, so it's like everything. I've clicked on everything with a 4 in it, I think.
Not in the lustful desire, even as the Gentiles who knew not God.
It's not that either.
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel.
Let's do this one. Group of pilgrims. I don't know what that means.
A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. No, nothing of value here.
It's the left.
It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years. There are finger marks,
Yeah.
deliberately drawn in the dust. 8 in all. A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
So I'm running out of stuff I can click on, like just as a. Oh,
Pound.
he says, saying there's nothing left to click on. Yeah. So it almost certainly has to be.
There are burnt papers in the chimney.
Something on the book, right?
There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says, we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be?
I knew about this.
Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith,
Yeah.
sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Curse your riddles.
Dante's Paradise.
Dante's Paradise.
Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
This is the only one that hasn't led me to a clue, and it's got a number bloody 4 in it. So I don't. Here we are again. This is where I was, so I was in 6-8. So I'll follow the first group to Mark, who will reveal your answer to them. So that's Mark gave us 6 and 8. And then Paul goes back in his tracks. I waited confirmation to his left and the company of the pilgrims. They've joined him. I was afraid that the code of the 2 pilgrims would mislead you. It is misleading. I think I've clicked on everything in every single one of these. So 418 was in Corinthians 2. There's no 4s there. There's no 4s there. And there's no, so that's literally the only thing that's got a 4 in it.
Because we look not at the things that are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
You know, great. So, there's a 4. There's a 4. There's a 4, so...
Finally, brethren, whatsoever things
Oh,
are
bloody
true,
whatsoever. I never want to hear this chat again.
Honest,
Ah!
whatsoever things are just,
Can I run
whatsoever
away?
things are pure,
Can I set myself on
whatsoever
fire?
things are lovely, whatsoever things
Use
are
the
of
candle.
good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
I hate this.
Not in the lustful desire, even as the Gentiles who knew not God.
Oh, this is absolutely woeful.
Hereby know that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit. Not in the lustful desire,
Shit.
even as the Gentiles who knew not God.
Know ye not God? So the only other thing would be is just 4 get doubled because he's in it twice, so then it becomes 8. I don't know. There's no 8s. 3 verse 8, I think I've done.
But though we, or an angel from heaven, preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
No 8s. No. There's one.
If we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us.
It wouldn't make any sense for that to be in there anyway. God. I think I'm at the stage now where I have clicked on every single one of these.
Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true,
Keep
whatsoever things
clicking
are
on
honest, whatsoever things are just,
Oh, I
whatsoever
just
things
want it to be
are
that
pure,
so much.
whatsoever things are
But
lovely,
if I just keep
whatsoever
clicking on
things
it,
are
it'll
of good
make it
report, if there be
true.
any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
I just do not know what to do. Another couple of laps of the room might inspire me.
St. Paul on the Road to Damascus by Caravaggio. St. Paul is the only saint to be presented twice in these paintings, contrary to the other apostles. How come?
How come indeed?
This painting has been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
So that's the only number that doesn't come up anywhere else, right? Yeah. Paul, Corinthians 6:7, Hebrews 6:8. This is like the number 4. Comes up twice. I don't know. See, if it's nothing to do with the book, I'm gonna be so pissed.
And suddenly there came a sound from heaven like a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting.
There's about to be a rushing wind. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna click on it.
Do all things without murmurings and disputes,
Do all things without murmurings.
even as it is meet for me to think this of you all, because I have you in my heart, inasmuch as both in my bonds, and in defense and confirmation of the gospel, ye all are partakers of my grace,
Shut up, ye.
whose end is destruction, whose God is their belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who think only of earthly things. This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind. Honor thy father and thy mother, as this is the first commandment. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the
Loins.
breastplate of righteousness. In him God has chosen us before the foundation of the world, that we may be holy and blameless before him.
It's not gonna be in Hebrews.
Paul and Silvanus and Timotheus unto the church of the Thessalonians, which is in God the Father and in the Lord Jesus Christ. Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Not in the lustful desire, even as the Gentiles who knew not God. For what thanks can we render to God again for you, for all the joy we found in you before our God? Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient toward all men.
I feel like I've gone like through every single one of these. 4s or 8s.
And he became very hungry and
Got an
would have
8 in
eaten,
it.
but while they were made ready, he fell into a trance. Hey, there's
Oh,
a note
fuck,
here.
Jesus
A
Christ.
message from Mother in reply to E. We must leave urgently, but first I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare. Watch out for Volner. He figured out I was avoiding him. Allay suspicion. See you tomorrow evening. Stand ready. For now, let's cease all communication until we meet. Take care of yourself. I suppose this must be the last message.
Thank fuck.
What happened afterward? If it's what I suspect, I fear the worst. What did Mother mean by, I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare? I must go beyond the nightmare. What does she mean by that? I'm guessing it's a metaphor. I need to figure out what this means. Mortimer's getting his guests together. I ought to join them so I don't look suspicious.
Well, that puzzle was horrendous. Or, sorry, I was horrendous at that puzzle. I'm still not entirely sure. I mean, I literally just clicked on everything until I got it. I don't even know if I was just looking for 4s and 8s. And the only reason I was looking for 4 is because I multiplied 4 by 2. I don't even know if... Yeah. Oh, that was bad. That was pretty bad. Ding. Oh, what do I want to put my effort? This is for science! Oh wait, hang on, I'm about to go into... Where's etiquette? Yeah, I feel like I want etiquette. And more subterfuges. God. What manuscripts do I want? Let's get a point of etiquette. I don't know. Yeah, that. Let's go.
It's time I went back and joined everyone in the small salon.
Small salon time. Should probably get me some honey.
Emily, I must speak to you.
What's the matter, Louis? About last night, I'm guessing.
Holy.
Sadly, no. Even if I'd like to have, Alas, there are more pressing matters. I have news about your sister.
What have you found out?
Look, I've started piecing together the events leading up to my mother's disappearance and your sister's.
Unless
Did my mother know about your secret?
Yes, even though I belong to the English chapter, her rank in the Order gives her access to a good deal of personal information.
Must have been Emma I saw in my vision.
I was given to understand that my mother and your sister bonded during their stay.
No, I'm good for that.
I've got a question that might seem a little bit strange.
I'm listening.
If I said go beyond the nightmare, would that ring any bells?
No, means nothing to me. Do you mean literally or figuratively speaking?
It might be a place, I don't know where, but it's a lead.
You ought to ask His Eminence. He knows the house and its estate very well, being a frequent visitor here.
Thanks for the advice.
Should I speak to her about my vision? If what I saw is true, she might want to take revenge.
Yeah, let's spill the beans.
Emily, there's something else.
Go on then.
It's about your sister. I don't know what happened exactly, but it's possible that my mother had a go at her.
I know, Louis. I found out that same evening. Well, thanks for not trying to hide it.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know if I could trust you. Now I know I can. It seems that your mother tricked Emma. She apparently asked her to hide an important book, so that even she wouldn't know where it was. And then she shot her like a dog to make sure no one would ever find it again.
How did you find out?
Sir Gregory told me on my arrival.
I'm sincerely sorry, Emily.
Thank you, Louis. You're very kind. It means a lot to me. But you do realize your mother will have to accept the consequences of her acts.
There must be an explanation, Emily.
That's what we shall see.
We'll speak about it later, somewhere safe.
Oh yeah.
Come, Louis.
Round
They're waiting
2.
for us.
Kaboom.
You will pay dearly, Peru. I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line.
That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back, or it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest. But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
And who is this charming character?
Manuel Godoy, the Duke of La Alcudia. He's the head of the Spanish government, Monsieur de Richet. He's the one who, in practice, controls Spain.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds!
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined.
What?
Oh, no.
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger. I have said it before.
How dare they?
Oh, dear. Oh, as if...
Rabble, 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 rabble.
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. He got a fair trial.
Ridiculous! Bastard! He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for one vote! Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act.
It was the
Until
will
this,
of the
anything
people.
was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of holiness. He was the highest representative of God in France, Emily.
Time to get psychological on these bitches' ass.
Gentlemen, Duchess, we're all among people of reputable company here. We should be able to manage the conflicts of our nations in a respectful and orderly manner.
I fully agree with you, sir.
But
That's enough, sir.
with whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis Maras de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his
Everyone
mother.
pumped my mum. Jesus.
Gentlemen, this news affects us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise. Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured. The response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you, as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of before you all find out the reason for your presence here. In the meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
Why don't we just hang out here till you ring the dinner bell? It's weird, dude.
Could you spare a moment, please, sir?
I'm glad you asked. I want to talk to you too.
Of course.
I heard about your mother's disappearance.
He looks concerned. I don't know why, but I doubt it's from sympathy alone. Well, let's see what he wants from me.
Any news of her? Have you found her, maybe?
What is this guy's bag? Oh, I don't know shit. Go for the questioning, I guess. No, he doesn't have feelings for her because he was smashing the doors in on Adams. So...
Why? Is there something you particularly wanted from her?
No, not specially.
My questions made him feel uneasy, but he's keeping his emotions under control.
Your mother and I used to often speak together. I have rarely met someone so learned. To tell you the truth, I was about to make a deal with her. Did she tell you about our arrangement?
Let's go for the psychology.
The cat's out of the bag now. More or less, but please do refresh my memory.
Yes, of course. Nothing of great importance in itself. During one of our discussions, she spoke of an old book, which might have been of interest to me. And she had agreed to let me have it.
A book about what?
Ancient occultism. As you are aware, I am a doctor of theology. You might have come across some old books in her belongings, perhaps?
The least one can say is that he doesn't beat around the bush.
Sarah never travels without a few books. What does the one you're looking for look like exactly?
It resembles a grimoire. It's divided into 7 parts, each one individually locked. It was made in such a way that if someone tried to tamper with it, the sheets would be permanently tarnished. It's a unique copy. There's only one.
The mere mention of it makes his face light up.
Well, I'll take a closer look, but I can't promise you anything.
You seem very upset.
Is it so important to you, this book?
Well, it's the search of a lifetime. What can I say? Every time I move closer to it, it seems to slip away at the last minute. I was very surprised to learn that your mother had it in her possession. I thought it was with a certain von Borchardt in Paris. Do you know him?
Indeed. My mother and I had a brush with this individual just a few months ago.
What about?
About an object stolen from the Order a few years ago, which my mother wanted to recover.
This situation comes as a great surprise to me.
I got him now.
I hope I've been able to satisfy your curiosity, Mr. von Volner, and that you succeed in finding what you're looking for.
Oh,
So he's after
and
the
so do I.
Alzheimer or whatever
And now,
it's called as well.
what if you told me who you really are working for, instead of keeping up this pretense?
I beg your pardon?
We both know what you're looking for, von Volner. You're the one who von Borchardt was planning to sell it to.
For centuries, all those who have come into contact with the Al-Azif have bitterly regretted it, Monsieur de Richet. You are playing a dangerous game. Please know that I am working for someone who does not appreciate anyone poking around in his business.
Let me guess.
Oh, this. I'm gonna go with Holm.
It's Sir Gregory.
Correct. You ought to know then. He is not a man who likes to be duped. You are walking on thin ice, sir.
There's a pattern with 5 circles on this chest. I have no space left. I'll retrieve it later.
So much golden elixir. Okay, who's about for a chit chat? Boney. Let's see what he thinks about the king getting his head chopped off.
Monsieur Bonaparte, may I speak with you a moment?
May we?
What do you think of Duke Godoy?
Well, I'd rather not express any opinion of him.
Why is that?
His reputation is enough for me.
His reputation is enough for me. I fancy some questioning.
Meaning?
This gentleman enjoys people talking about him for too many reasons. His undeserved titles, more than 10 in just 4 years, and each one more prestigious than the one before.
You don't think he deserves them?
If I had seen him on the battlefield, there might be some doubt. But that is not the case. The Queen would rather not risk losing him, so she consoles him with awards and titles.
So you don't have a very positive opinion?
His coveting French Catalonia does not encourage me to have one.
I understand your point of view. Does expression go beyond the nightmare mean anything to you at all?
Well, metaphorically, yes. It sums up the career of a soldier quite well. I doubt that is what you want to hear, though.
Indeed. That's surely not what I'm looking for.
Well, monsieur, if you are looking for a phrase book, Lord Mortimer must surely have one, given the number of books he has. You ought to check in the library of the tower. You never know.
Would you have any more information about the conference Lord Mortimer spoke of?
Nothing at all. Mortimer is very committed to secrecy when it comes to his conferences. But given the presence of Monsieur Peru and ourselves, I think it must concern France to some extent. Otherwise, I doubt he would have invited 3 Frenchmen to his table, huh?
Well,
Maybe
I'll
he
be
just
leaving
loves
now.
our accents.
Shall we meet up again later?
Wait, monsieur. Any news of your mother?
Unfortunately not, no.
I hope to speak with her about my deal before I leave. Let me know if you find her. À plus tard, monsieur.
Ah, putain, monsieur. Washington has to say.
A drachma. Go beyond the nightmare. Does this line remind you of anything in particular?
You caught me unaware here, Louis. Let me think about it a second. No, nothing comes to mind. Sorry, Louis, but I am unable to help you.
Well, thank you for your time.
Don't mention it, my young friend. Regarding your question on the nightmare, don't hesitate to question the others about it. Maybe one of them knows more than I do.
All right, Captain.
That's a good
Hicks.
idea.
Thank you once again. I'll see you in a little bit.
To the library. Wait, is this the way to the library? Yes. Aha! Count de Frou-Frou.
Ah, Louis. Just the man. Good lord. How did the king come to be executed? I would think that the order would have intervened.
Your Eminence, I'm sorry for King Louis, but he did everything to put himself there.
Louis, how can you say such a thing?
Oh, he's immune to logic because he's a
France
man of the
rejects
cloth.
the church.
I should have
You
known.
don't go and behead a person of high status. They always serve our cause better alive than dead. Politically, it's absurd.
I invite you to speak about it with my mother as soon as she reappears.
Is there any news of her?
Well, I hope it won't be long before I find her, Your Eminence.
Now you wanted to speak to me.
Jesh, I want to ask you about the nightmare.
If I say
Don't know why I
the
became
nightmare to
almost
you, does
the Count.
it make you think of anything?
Your question is strange, my son. Difficult to say. Could you at least tell me a little more about the context?
I'll go with a manipulation.
Think of a place and tell me the first thing that comes into your mind when I say the nightmare.
Let me think. I'd say Lord Mortimer's favorite painting on the wall behind his desk. You know, that painting caused quite a stir when it was exhibited. It is titled The Nightmare, and it shows a woman lying down with a creature sitting on her, and in the background, a horse. I don't know if it will be of any help, but I can't think of anything else.
You never know. Thank you for that, though, Your Eminence. I gotta go and see it just in case, though. Thank you for everything, Your Eminence. I shan't take up any more of your time.
You are welcome, my son. I will be seeing you, Louis.
Well, 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 a hot tip. Gotta go check out the painting. Golden elixir.
Atrus, the Miller brothers. Mother expressly forbid.
Honey, the remedy of the gods.
Deep this goes. So let's go up to Morty's study. Shall we?
What do you want, Louis?
What do you think of our last guest?
Well, I never thought I would get the chance to meet that Hispanic Casanova in the flesh. His reputation is well known. The gentleman collects lovers, including, would you believe it, the Queen of Spain.
I don't know any politics.
I doubt that Lord Mortimer invited him for his charm, if you want my opinion.
You're leaving me?
Unfortunately, I have things to do. Thank you again, madam.
You'll be fine on your own, pal. I'm off to look at a painting.
So, what did my mother mean by going beyond the nightmare?
Secret passages.
It's a book on the history of the Crusades. I don't think it has any connection with my research.
Oh, wow. Dear Mr. Hudo Porti, I am writing with regard to the dates of the paintings that I sent you for temporary exhibition. Please note they're part of my private collection and are dated according to the Freemasons calendar AL in use at the time. As you may well have guessed, you must remember to subtract 4,000 years if you don't want the public to be surprised at the dating of the works. You need to remind you that Freemason year begins in March, not January. About the Longinus painting, I took the liberty to have the spear touched up so it better corresponds to the actual spear. I cannot urge you strongly enough to do the same for yours. Yours sincerely. Accounts for the year 1792. Food, candles, gestoron, Corinthian marble, wood, stained glass, master paintings. That's a lot of paintings. Fabric, wine, water, powder. Remember to reduce wood consumption next year.
No, what have we got here? Well, it looks like a model of a lock. It's as if Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes. Well, I hope I never have to try and unlock it. Let's take a closer look.
Tick chocolate. Examine chocolates. I want chocolate.
Dark chocolate beans. Very bitter. They're greatly prized in high society.
I've got some beans. Polly wants some beans?
A mina bird. Sarah de Riche? Waldo, you know Sarah?
Yes, take the chocolate. Oh no.
Oh, what have I done? Looks like I've killed him. Oh, shit. I better not hang around.
I thought only dogs didn't like chocolate. I'm gonna be in trouble for this. I should have given him a cherry. Oh, balls. I'm sorry, Waldo. No birds were harmed in the making of this playthrough.
The nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781. Ah, this must be what my mother was talking about. Now just need to find out what she meant by go beyond. Hey, looks like it's mounted on rails on each side. It should lift up, I think. There must be a mechanism somewhere.
If only the bird could have told me if I had killed it with chocolate beans.
No mechanism here.
No mechanism here. What about these cherries?
Might come in handy.
Nope. Definitely messed it up. Oh, that looks like a mechanism. That looks mechanism-y.
Aha! I found it. Oh, what on earth is this? A ring lock now? Great. That's all I needed.
Oh, the bird probably would have told me the code. Oh no.
No, what have we got here?
No.
Oh, it looks like a model. A model of a lock. Said
Right,
Mortimer is
let's
fond
do
of
some
complicating
investigations.
things sometimes. Well, I hope I never have to try and unlock it.
Christ.
Looks like there's a marker on number 1 on the second roller.
I'll spend.
It's a complex mechanism. Looks like the third ring is a bit seized up. It gets stuck on number 9. Looks like there's a marker on number 1 on the second roller.
Something. Well, none of those have those numbers in that order. Reduce wood consumption next year. I wonder if it's 9227.
It's a complex mechanism. Looks like the third ring is a bit seized up. It gets stuck on number 9.
Okay. So it's probably something 19 something. Anything else to give us a clue? What's this?
No, what have we got here? Oh, it looks like a model of a lock. Said Mortimer is fond of complicating things sometimes.
Why did I have to kill the bird? Oh, is it like his favorite year in the Crusades? What about that?
This painting isn't finished, and it looks like Mortimer probably did it. Not bad, but you can't exactly say it's been done in the style of the period. History of the First Crusades by Pierre Amédée de la Salle. Hey, the dates indicate AL, and it looks like 4,000 years have been added to our calendar. Oh, that counting system again. The Crusades took place not long after the year 1000. Here all the dates say 5,000 and something. I'm guessing this dating system begins 4,000 years before the calendar that we use. Yet, I'm getting the feeling that there's something else, another small detail, but what is it?
This it here? 5192. Let's give it a blast. Mortimer's into his crusades, we spoke about that. Five, 1, 9, 2.
got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Shh, I really thought that was going to work.
History of the First Crusades by Pierre Amédée de la Salle. Hey,
Oh wait, is it
the
4,000?
dates indicate AL, and it looks like 4,000 years have been added to our calendar. Oh, that counting system again.
So is it actually 1192?
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter.
Why do I play puzzle games? I'm no good at them. I don't
History of the First Crusades
know.
by Pierre Amédée de la Salle. Hey, the dates indicate AL, and it looks like 4,000 years have been added to our calendar. Oh, that counting system again. The Crusades took place not long after the year 1000. Here all the dates say 5,000 and something. I'm guessing this dating system begins 4,000 years before the calendar that we use. Yet, I'm getting the feeling that there's something else, another small detail, but what is it? The author is Pierre Amédée de la Salle, none other than the Grand Master of the Masonic Lodge of Paris. Now I understand why the dates are offset. He's using dates based on the Anno Lucis, year 0 of the Masonic calendar, by adding 4,000 years to the Gregorian calendar. But I thought that calendar starts in March. The famous call from Pope Gregory VIII in his Audita Tremendi Bull of 5,187. Oh, the crusade where Richard the Lionhearted distinguished himself. It states the first sea blockade of Saint-Jean d'Acre was broken in the 12th month of 5,190 AL, whereas the siege had been going on for 2 years.
So that was his favorite one, the Saint-Jean. Didn't he say that was his favorite? Maybe I need to put it to the 90, not 92. And yeah, take 4,000 years off. Get that to 0.
Doesn't work, damn it. I really thought I was close. 1,190. Isn't the right date when you subtract 4,000? I must have missed a subtlety.
Oh, I'm on the game though because. Is it BC? So it should have gone up, not down. So it should be 9. If that's right, I'm gonna do a dance. There's no way this is correct.
Well, I got it wrong. It doesn't matter. History of the First Crusades by Pierre Amédée de la Salle. Hey, the dates indicate AL, and it looks like 4,000 years have been added to our calendar. Oh, that counting system again. The famous call from Pope Gregory VIII in his Audita Tremendi Bull of 5,187. Oh, the crusade where Richard the Lionhearted distinguished himself. It states the first sea blockade of Saint-Jean d'Acre was broken in the 12th month of 5190 AL, whereas the siege had been going on for 2 years.
It states that the first sea blockade of Saint-Jean d'Acre was broken in the 12th month of 5190 AL. Now, if the year begins in March, not January, do I just change it to a 1? Yes!
Open sesame.
I did it! But I killed a bird. I really wish I hadn't done that.
Let's see what you've been hiding, Lord Murderer.
Indeed. Dear Lord Mortimer, I'm writing to ask you to persuade President Washington not to sign the Fugitive Slave Act as it stands. We must absolutely legislate on a national level and not allow every state to choose their policy regarding slaves. It was initially intended to resolve a conflict between Pennsylvania and Virginia, but signing it we risk legislating the hunting of blacks. More and more men of little faith are becoming slave hunters, and unable to find any slaves on the run, they kidnap the first black they come across, which they pass off as a wanted runaway. The situation threatens to quickly degenerate. Thank you in advance, your friend, John Adams. P.S. Say hello to my daughter, Elizabeth, for me. Interesting, so that means that John knew that she was alive. Didn't Washington say that John Adams didn't know? Or that's what I got the impression. It's a map of Africa.
It shows the forces present in Africa. This is unexpected activity in this sector. It looks like there are also many unknowns, even for Mortimer.
It began in Africa. My lord, I hope this letter will reach you. My hours are numbered. My printing house has been confiscated and I'm imprisoned in the fortress of Schlieselberg. If by chance you could intervene in my favor, I'd be eternally in your debt. Selina Catherine. She'd not be long in the banning. All Gold Order lodges from her territory, our horizon has become considerably darker. In hope that you can help me, your friend, Nikolai Novikov. I don't know who you are. I don't know who he is.
Weakness of the Human Psyche by Guillaume Trimore. He says, it is possible to drill an idea into someone by constant daily repetition until the mind gives in. And goes on, there are hundreds of good ways to live life, but you only need one to convince the masses that it's the only one possible. The author isn't letting any ethical principles get in his way, is he?
The gift has been delivered. Timur Shah, Durrani, King of Afghanistan, of Punjab, of Sindh, of Mashhad, and Kashmir, should not retain his title much longer. His son Zaman will succeed him as planned. We will then be able to resume negotiations. K. What's with all these white people and meddling in the Middle East?
This shows the forces present in America.
America. My dear friend, with thanks for your services rendered and help in the fight against the Spanish and the quest of Oran, a ship bound for Marseille in France has been chartered. Hidden aboard are a few corpses infected with the plague that is decimating our country at this moment in time. Be very careful when handling these boxes, because if inadvertently opened, you risk spreading disease all over France. Mohammed El Kabir. Interesting. Oh God. My dear friend, as desired, I've been able to gather together my friends to sign the agreement you proposed. This agreement shall be known as the Buttonwood Agreement. If you recall the place where we gathered when you met us for the first time, you will understand why this name was given. Please find enclosed the list of my colleagues. Leonard Bleakner, Hugh Smith, Armstrong Brown, Samuel March, Andrew D. Barclay, Benjamin Sexus, John Henry, John Bush, David Reedy. Thanks to your help, we shall soon be able to meet at my place, the Tontine Coffee House. I look forward to seeing you as soon as possible, Hugh Smith. I'm not clever enough to know what that's about, so I don't know what that's about. Let us see if you have the courage to face me alone.
This is my mother's writing. I've picked up her trail. What is she up to? Obviously she wants to lure Mortimer somewhere, but where? The only clue she's left for Mortimer is his stone sword. It must be intentional. It looks like a decorative sword, like from a statue, for example. And judging by the state of it, I'm guessing it's been left outside for a long time. I have absolutely got to find out where it came from.
Got to have a little tenderness. My dear friend, thank you for your words, and I do understand your situation. I regret having to confront you militarily, but if the situation obliges me to declare war, then do what you think fit. Under your advisement and with a weary heart, I am off to meet up with the coalition that opposes you, in the hope of serving you again, King George of Hanover, King of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. It's a map of Europe.
It shows the forces present in Europe. It's clear that France is surrounded by her enemies. However, a large number has been underlined in bold. 26 million. I know what it is. It's an estimation of my country's population. All our neighbors have far fewer inhabitants.
William, whatever your projects, it would seem that our father is against leaving you with a grip on Europe. Russia will soon commit itself to the coalition against your dear France. Do you think you can resist for long? I beseech you, William. Do not persist. You're tearing the family apart. You're learning about a GPSO. I shall come to your conference, but G. Is that a good eye? He is that right? Is Goodeye Mortimer's brother, according to that? Possibly. My dearest Lord Mortimer, as a friend of China, rest assured that you'll be rewarded for your information. You need not worry about any scheming against us from Great Britain. The representative, Mr. McCartney, will leave with no hope of arrangements involving us, your friend. Wei Long, Emperor of the Qing Dynasty.
It's locked.
Locked. No way through here. Sir, your plans to intervene in Belgium or to go ahead is set down. I am to occupy the Prussian army. Your delivery of cannons to Valmy has ensured our victory. As agreed, I have notified the King of Prussia of your invasion plans of the Castine and the army of the north. I will keep the Austrians out of Belgium. I am to quickly return to Paris as I sense the fate of our King Louis is about to be decided dishonorably. This is impossible for me not to intervene. Should you have any missives to give me, I invite you to go by as per usual. Our friend Monsieur Peru, yours sincerely, Charles Francois. General. Oh, interesting, interesting. That's a map of Asia.
A fine-looking map of the Orient, indeed.
That's it. My dearest Lord Mortimer, I regret to inform you that it will soon be impossible to ignore the pressure from the Russians. Selina Catherine has every intention to support the Count of Provence and will recognize him as a regent of the Kingdom of France. Our King Louis disappeared on the political stage. I'm sorry to announce bad news, but dark times are ahead. Your friend, Elfried Bauer. Okay. I think I read everything in the room.
Weakness of the Human
Yes, I
Psyche
did.
by Guillaume Trimore. He says, it is
Oh,
possible
there's so
to
many
drill an
things.
idea into someone by constant daily repetition until the mind gives in and goes on. There are hundreds of good ways to live life, but you only need one to preservation using formaldehyde. Just as disgusting as ever. Something strange about this table.
Oh, I thought I had some science on the go.
The little surgeon's perfect collection.
Lord Mortimer is immune to science. Look at this block of dreams.
Looks like obsidian or onyx. Must weigh a ton. These are feathers. Pigeon, probably. A skeleton by the name of Gustav, if the plaque on the plinth is anything to go by. Mortimer's given a name to his anatomy skeleton. That's morbid. Oh, his right hand is missing.
Unless it was Gustav. Dear Lord Mortimer, as agreed, I have changed your old lock for one of my invention, drawing inspiration from your doctor friend, Mr. Guillotine. Here is the model of your new lock. If you appreciate my prototype, it's difficult to imagine how it all fits together, but it will be located in the middle of the present door, the aim being to alter nothing in the door's functionality, but add a bit of spice. Depending on the line of the wheels, the aforementioned lock will open, or will punish the snooper whose faith is not strong enough. Only the penitent man will pass. I call my invention the Judgment of Faith, because if a snooper isn't able to resist opening it, they will be punished. Hope you'll appreciate the irony of the situation. Gustav. Oh well, is this the architect? Skeleton. Might be. Dear friend, who's the most admirable of all the Olympians? None other the king of gods, of course. Unlike his father Kronos, He learned to make equal his strength and wisdom. Instead of fearing the power of children and his brothers, he accepted to share the world with them. Men fear his thunder and praise his justice. He reigns, but doesn't dominate. Sounds a bit Zeusy. Zeus?
That must be for writing the homing pigeon messages. An iron mask. I wonder who it's for.
Is it for the man in the iron mask? Somebody get Leonardo DiCaprio on. Stat. Dear Lord Mortimer, be assured of my entire devotion. As agreed, the Veni Pesantre will soon rise up. My network is striving to increase the pressure on the masses. The decision of the Assembly, which consists of voting the civil constitution of the clergy, is inflaming the region. The people overwhelmingly reject the priests and swear loyalty to the state. If you could ensure that the convention will administer the final blow to the people, the issue will be resolved. Without wishing to direct you, a forced recruitment for faraway conflict would be a perfect way to arouse the people. Definitively, your devoted servant Francois Thanes Charette de la Contrie. A key with a fire occult symbol.
A chest with a motif representing the alchemical symbol of fire.
Well, I'm guessing that didn't work. I don't care about unlocking that really, it's probably just gonna have some garbage in it.
A table of alchemical elements. So, Lord Mortimer also studies alchemy? It seems like he's interested in everything.
My dearest friend, our plans are going wonderfully well. The Coinage Act has been voted. Your project of founding the very first Bank of America should not be delayed. Probably called the Union Bank. As for the construction of the White House, it is still dying to begin in October. I will accept no delays. You can trust me on this. Hope to see you soon. Thomas Jefferson? Interesting.
Am I seeing things, or is that an actual von Leeuwenhoek microscope? Incredible. Mortimer really is at the cutting edge of science. Even at the Order, it took us ages to get one of those.
He's immune to science.
3 rusty old nails. They're about 20 centimeters long. Some goat skulls, chicken legs. Now we all know what that's for. I'm a little surprised at Mortimer. I didn't seem as the type to be organizing little pagan parties, invoking occult powers, and dancing naked under the full moon. I'm more used to seeing cheap charms like this sold by charlatans in Pré Saint-Gervais. Look, a pack of tarot cards. Has he been reading the cards? Mortimer? That would surprise me. It is a typical draw in a line that answers a specific question. To the left, Temperance, that announces a reward for one who patiently waits before taking any action. And in the middle, the Chariot, which symbolizes triumph and business success. To the right, the Emperor evokes a future full of power and stability.
Lord Mortimer the Tiger is dying. On your demand, I have attacked Travancore, personally cut out the throats of as many Englishmen as possible with it. Any help from the French? I cannot hold them off much longer. My forces are rapidly diminishing in spite of your new rockets. Please help us. Tipu Sahib, Sultan of Mysore. He's got his fingers in many pies, does Mortimer. Many pies.
It's locked.
Oh shit, nuts, how do I get out of here? What do we reckon, boys and girls? What do I do? I don't think I can go back the way I came.
Oh shit. How am I gonna get out of here now?
Do I have to like what's the polar, what's the exact opposite of what the code was? That would be bonkers if it was. What the bloody hell was it? It was 1911, wasn't it? Or was it 1191? Okay, let's work this out. Let's work this out. Ugh. Okay, so if 1's here, how many turns does it take to come all the way back? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I go 5, it should be on the way around, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This needs to be 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side. Whoa, whoa. If the grid closes a bit more every time I enter a wrong date, I'd better not mess up again. I know I'm on the right track here. Am I sure that the numbers I can see are the right ones?
Balls. I thought I was on to a winner.
This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side. The mechanism passes through the wall. The wheels are the same on both sides. Chances are the combination I used on the other side works on this side too.
Yeah, but I already can't remember what the bloody number was I used.
Looks like the same as the one on the other side.
Was it 1191? 1191? I don't want to fuck this up. Was it 1191? 19. 19. God, I can't even. It's the Crusades. You took out like 4,000. Is that right? So it was, remember it was 5,000, but you took off the 4,000. I think I've got the middle two the wrong way round. One, two, three, four, five. So if I want this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? Because the number was 1911. I think I'm onto it, like, because he said, oh, I'm nearly there. I think I just got those middle two the wrong way around, so I think it's, so this is 9499. Let's do it. I think I just got those the wrong way around.
This looks like the same mechanism as the one on the other side.
Be brave, Louis! Yes, gangster! Top sleuth.
Well, better not dwell on it then.
Probably shouldn't have killed that bird, Louis. I'm gonna find the origin of the sword. It's statues then, isn't it? What's this book?
Oh, the family tree. Lord William Alexander Mortimer, lover of the arts and the sciences, he took up politics at an early age. After rapidly becoming influential, he decides to retire from public life in order to organize conferences reserved for the elite with the aim of finding answers to world problems. Blah, 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 blah. He's also an only son, and the book doesn't mention any known descendant.
Yeah, he had a brother in that thingy, though.
Alright. For one, the women of the lineage are not mentioned at all. What a cavalier attitude. Right. Let's see. Who else is there?
Analyze.
All the descendants are called William Mortimer. There have been only male descendants. All of them only sons. Strange. It was uncommon to have only one child in those days, let alone all only sons. How was that possible? It really makes you wonder if all those sons really are official descendants. I'm smelling something shady here.
Smelling something shady.
Another at random. William Mortimer again. Only son, him too. Born in 1573 and died in 1665. The Mortimers lived to a ripe old age, that's for sure. Discreet again. The summary states that he was an excellent merchant, and that towards the end of his life, he entered politics?
I tire of looking at this. Let's go this way. Oh, I could have met Peru under strange circumstances, damn. I poisoned Waldo. I didn't. Oh. Well, I mean, I did. I didn't want to. I thought he would like chocolate. Who doesn't like chocolate? Yes. Subterfuge. This is for science? Yes, conviction. Yes, yes. Good. Now then. Science. I see, that gives you loads of points. That's probably a good idea. Manipulation. Politics. Sure, why not?
This note is about a meeting with Lord Mortimer. There's no doubt about it. Alright, I need to find out where the sword that came with it's from in order to find Mother.
You're joking, I hope. Don't tell me you've done that.
Really? How do you expect me to guess?
Oh, for God's sake, just ask them.
Oh, I was getting spied on.
We must absolutely inform Sir Gregory. How long has he been trying to collect all the spears?
I must have brought him the first one 20-odd years ago.
Do you know if he has managed to get the original?
Well, in any case, he's got all the ones we had at the Vatican. He made me replace them with copies. But I don't understand your reaction. I'm sure it is nothing serious.
Aha. I can see very well you do not understand. You have done nothing less than sign our death warrants, and still you don't understand.
Someone is listening.
What? Monsieur de Richet, why not join us rather than find yourself eavesdropping?
I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Of course you didn't. So, my son, what can we do for you?
I was wondering if you might have seen an object like this, here, at the manor.
What are you playing at, de Richet?
I'm afraid I can't help you, my son. Ask someone who knows the manor better than I do. One of the servants, for example. One of them is bound to help you.
Thank you for your advice, Your Eminence. I didn't mean to spy on you, but you caught my attention. Your Eminence,
psycho all the way.
I don't know what you said to Mr. von Volna, but
I know he was
fellow looks
vulnerable to
positively
manipulation, I
crestfallen.
think.
Not at all.
Don't you believe it, Louis. I was just telling Monsieur about Lord Mortimer's burning passion for holy relics. You must have noticed he's a bit of a collector. Well, for years he has been searching high and low to bring all the copies of the Holy Spear together. As I was coming here, I thought I'd bring him a few of them. That's all.
Be quiet, for God's sake. Please leave us, monsieur. His Eminence and I wish to finish our discussion alone.
I don't like you, Volner. You're bossy. Let's go find a servant, eh? Downstairs, perhaps.
I am sorry, sir, but the conference room is under preparation and is consequently inaccessible to guests.
Could you perhaps help me?
What can I do for you, sir?
Where did this sword come from?
From the garden, sir. That sword belongs to one of the statues in the garden.
Thank you very much.
Don't mention it, sir.
How do I get to the garden? Is it out this door? Yes. Yes, it is.
The sword probably came from this garden, but what could it have been used for?
golden elixir.
Golden elixir. Can't even pick it up. Nom 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 nom. Ah, Peru.
Well, Monsieur de Richet, what brings you here?
To tell the truth, I was wondering the same thing about you.
It's rare for guests to wander about in the garden. I wanted to be alone.
Vulnerable to etiquette, are you, Peru?
You look worried.
Worried? No. Resolved would be a more exact term.
Resolved to do what?
What's the point in answering? You wouldn't believe me anyway. I'll be leaving now because whatever it is you're up to, I do not want to know. Be seeing you.
Tell me, aren't you even curious?
Curiosity killed a cat, Monsieur de Richet. I admit, I may have judged you wrongly. Watching you seek out Mortimer's little secrets might even be amusing if I didn't already know the consequences. See you later.
What happened to you, monsieur?
It's time for me to assume the consequences of my choices. I've sold my soul to the devil. Now it's time to pay.
He's a mysterious guy.
Ariadne. In Greek mythology, she helped Theseus get through the labyrinth. Looks like there's a crack in the region of the heart.
Is that where you observe the crack?
Let's see. A crack as long as my finger.
I don't know if a sword goes in the crack. And I've learned now, you don't just jam things in the first time you find them in this game. Let us be cautious.
Icarus.
He flew too close to the sun.
Son of Daedalus and Nocrate. Impossible to mistake him with those wings. After flying too close to the sun, they came unstuck and he fell to his death. Pity. Hey, there's no crack here. Well, let's keep going.
No crack on that one.
Theseus, son of Aegeus. He's the one who slayed the Minotaur. Looks like a crack has been made on his torso. It's as long as a finger. I'd say between 6 and 8 centimeters. I wonder if Mother managed to solve this enigma.
Oh, mother.
Minos, son of Zeus and Europa. If I remember correctly, he was the king of Crete. Married to Pasiphae, he had many children, including the famous Ariadne, whom history remembers for her thread. Hey, there's a crack in that statue. The crack is in the region of the heart. It's a thin crack as long as a finger. A blade could easily enter.
Christ, which
Great, honey.
which statue am I gonna stab up?
Pasiphae, daughter of Perseus and sister of Circe. She married Minos and became the queen of Crete. She has no cracks. Alright, well, let's continue anyways.
She has no cracks.
I wonder what this kiosk is doing in the middle of the garden. Too cramped to be able to do much. Well, there must be something going on there. What is that? It's like a sort of opening mechanism. Knowing Mortimer, I bet it's booby-trapped. There's a little hole at the fingers. I'm pretty sure if I get it wrong, I'll get pricked. Damn you, Mortimer. Reminds me of traps I studied in Egyptian tombs.
So Ariadne had the thread, right?
Daedalus. He's the architect of the labyrinth. And if I'm not mistaken, he's also the father of Icarus. Hey, there's a crack in this statue too. The crack is thin and about as long as a finger.
So, who doesn't have a crack? Icarus and you?
Pasiphae, daughter of Perseus and sister of Circe. She married Minos and became the queen of Crete.
She has no cracks. Alright, well, let's continue anyways.
She has no cracks. I fancy for it. Am I gonna pop it into that guy? Is that what I'm gonna do? Oh, spun around. So this, if you follow this, it goes around. Sorry, yeah. Comes out there. Ah.
A ruble.
Along here. Here. Dum 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 dum. Oh. There. Here. Finishes here.
Theseus.
Theseus is getting
Looks like a crack has been made on his torso.
the sword.
Well, we'll soon see.
I didn't like that clunk, it didn't sound good enough.
It looks like this slab moves. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a passageway underneath it. It's up to the just to deliver judgment. Truth unlocks all possibilities. It's up to the just to deliver judgment. Truth unlocks all possibilities.
It's up to the just to deliver judgment. Truth unlocks possibilities. So I need to do things to do with truth.
Pasiphae, daughter of Perseus and sister of Circe. She married Minos and became the queen of Crete.
Alright, well, let's continue anyways.
So I've stuck the sword into Theseus, who defeated the labyrinth. Does that make him captain of truth?
Daedalus. If I remember rightly, he's the one who built the labyrinth for Minos.
Daedalus built the labyrinth. Oh, here's another one.
Asterion. It is rare to see him like this. In general, he's represented with the head of a bull, with the features of the Minotaur.
The famous son of Minos and Pasiphae. Asterion was a son of Pasiphae and Minos, or rather the result of a curse put on Minos.
Minos was punished for betraying Poseidon. Of course, as strangely it often happens, it wasn't he who was punished, it was his wife. She had to mate with a bull, no less. From that union, Asterion was born, who everyone knows as the famous Minotaur. Rejected by Minos, he was shut up in the labyrinth so he could never leave. And, as if that wasn't bad enough, he died by the hand of a hero desperate to restore his reputation. Technically, Asterion is the victim of the story because he's described as a child cast out from birth. Born from an extramarital union because of the errors of his father, he was treated as an outcast all his life. And he died as innocently as he was born. A tragic story, as the Greeks knew how to do so well. This statue has a crack in it. Let's go. Theseus. He's the son of Aegeus. He became the mythical king of Athens, the unifying king. Pity, he's generally only remembered for having slayed the Minotaur. Let's try something else instead.
So no crack, no crack. So I've got a choice of Ariadne, Theseus. So I've got a 1 in 4 chance.
It's up to the just to deliver judgment. Truth unlocks all possibilities.
It's up to the just to deliver judgment. Oh wait, there's this lad.
Minos.
He and his queen, Pasiphae, were the monarchs of Crete.
I don't know if he was... Oh, Christ. So I've got 1 in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 in 5 chance of getting it right. And I don't feel particularly good about any of my choices. Can I use any of these things to make... Can I go like, the next skill use is free.
Theseus. I seem to recall he took the decision to confront the Minotaur. He killed the beast, but if it weren't for Ariadne's help, he would have been trapped in that labyrinth forever. In short, yet another hero who wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. Okay, I'm probably being a bit harsh. I mean, we do owe him the foundations of Athens. In other words, the Republic. Render therefore unto Caesar what is Caesar's. I wonder if Mother managed to solve this enigma.
Oh, Mother.
Daedalus. If I remember rightly, he's the one who built the labyrinth for Minos.
Okay, so what do we think? I mean, I don't know. So, something about Justin being trusted. I mean, I guess the only person to be... I mean, Theseus trusted Ariadne to go the right way? Or is she just here to get me around this? And then... Christ, I got out of here.
Ariadne. If I recall the Iliad, Ariadne is none other than the daughter of Minos and Pasiphae. She was in love with Theseus and helped him in his quest to kill the Minotaur in return for a promise of marriage, if he defeated the monster. She gave him a reel of thread so that he could find his way back through the labyrinth, which was famous for being unsolvable. But once the beast was slain, the gallant was quick to abandon her on an island. Turns out heroes are not what they once were.
Okay, so Theseus was a douche and dumped Ariadne on an island.
It's up to the just to deliver judgment. Truth unlocks all possibilities.
Up to the just to deliver. So, I suppose the only person that was sort of innocent was the Minotaur, really. Because he was just chilling. I'm gonna put the sword in you, sir.
Asterion. This statue has a crack in it. Right. We'll soon see.
Makes sense, because he's got other swords in him as well. Oh well, here goes nothing.
What's wrong? Either I'm imagining things or my hand was pricked. It had poison on it. My head. I feel hot.
Should probably golden elixir that thing. Okay, so it wasn't him.
Asterion.
I've got a ton of elixirs, so I don't know. I'm just gonna have to go with the flow. So let's go with Theseus. It can't be Theseus. Let's go with Theseus's Da.
Minos. Minos. The crack is in the region of the heart.
Let's give you a good stab in Minos. Come on! Why was it Minos, I hear you say? I have no idea. Ah! Oh.
Again?
Again?
You can't be serious, Manuel. You know that's not going to happen.
You must leave me alone now. I have agreed to everything. Even to...
Agreed? I wasn't aware you had a choice.
What's going on here?
What now? What else must I do to win back my freedom?
Obey me. Now get out!
Weird.
What was that? That's the third time in 3 days. Let's see if you're in there, Mother.
Search the crypt. Ooh, amber.
A fragment of amber.
Well, I think I'm going to stop there for now, because I solved, like, maybe 2 mysteries. 3. Oh man, this game is brutal on my faculties. Ugh. And I'm not very good at it. No, but you could have probably done this whole thing in like about 15 minutes, and it's taken me like 2 hours. Oh well, we'll We'll pick up on this next time. Thanks for watching, guys, and catch you later.